to welcome you to this press conference. The scope of this press conference is to update the public.
We don't have
any
audio.
audio.
No audio?
No audio.
Turn the mic on.
Oh, unmute, sorry. I apologize for that. How's that?
Better.
I hear it myself now. Okay. I'd like to welcome you to this press conference. The scope of this press conference is to update the public regarding the ongoing investigation into the officer-involved shooting which occurred on January 26th in Harney County. Before we begin, I would like to provide a few expectations. First, due to the fact we are located within a secure law enforcement facility, we cannot allow unescorted access. Two, we would ask that you hold your questions to the end of the press conference. There will be some time at the end of the press conference for a few questions. Three, please refrain from disrupting any of the speakers or the press conference. Any disruptions will receive one warning, and any further disruptions will be escorted out of the room and off the property. We don't anticipate any issues, and we thank you for your cooperation. During this press conference, you will see quite a bit of information. We will make this available, and I will provide information at the conclusion of the press conference on how you can receive the information. Again, we're very appreciative of your understanding and cooperation. At this time, I'd like to now introduce Sheriff Nelson.
Can everyone hear this all right? Good morning. I'm Shane Nelson, the Deschutes County Sheriff. With me are Harney County District Attorney Tim Colahan and Malheur County's District Attorney Dan Norris, who is leading the investigation of the officer-involved shooting of Robert Lavoy Finicum on January 26, 2016, under Harney County's plan addressing use of deadly force, enacted under ORS 181A.775 to 815. We are here to present the results of the investigation as we know them today. Also here are United States Attorney Bill Williams, Special Agent in charge for Oregon, FBI, Greg Bretzing, and Special Agent in charge Michael Tompkins of the United States Department of Justice, Office of the Inspector General. We ask that you hold your questions until the end of this presentation. The Deschutes County Sheriff's Office was contacted by the Oregon State Police to conduct an independent and impartial investigation of the use of deadly force. The Deschutes County Sheriff's Office then reached out to members of our Central Oregon Tri-County Major Incident Team for investigative resources. Detectives responded from the City of Bend Police, City of Redmond Police, Oregon State Police, and forensic scientists from the Oregon State Police Crime Lab. What you will see today is the FBI video, which I'm sure most of you have already seen. You will also hear the events of January 26th, which were recorded on the camera of Shauna Cox, an occupant in Mr. Finicum's truck at the time of the shooting. The Deschutes County Sheriff's Office has synchronized the FBI video and the Cox audio video by matching significant visual cues in both videos. We have considered this video footage, along with statements given by the Oregon State Police troopers and the FBI hostage rescue team operators, the interviews given by Shauna Cox, Victoria Sharp, and Ryan Bundy, the physical evidence, and the crime scene reconstruction by the Major Incident Team investigators. We have presented the investigation to Malheur County District Attorney Dan Norris so he could review the actions of the Oregon State Police troopers under applicable Oregon law governing the use of deadly force. We have determined that 8 shots were fired on that day, 6 of which have been attributed to the Oregon State Police, including the 3 shots that resulted in the death of Mr. Finicum, and 2 shots which were fired by the FBI HRT operators. You have heard a statement from Shauna Cox that, quote, hundreds of bullets, unquote, were fired at the truck, and from Victoria Sharp that, quote, as many as 100 bullets were fired at the truck, unquote. After Mr. Finicum was shot, numerous gas projectiles and flashbangs were deployed to get the remaining occupants of the truck, Ryan Bundy, Shauna Cox, and Victoria Sharp, to surrender peacefully. But again, only 8 shots were fired.
Good morning, I'm Dan Miller, District Attorney from Oregonian. Of the 8 shots fired, the 6 fired by the Oregon State Police were justified and in fact necessary. My legal obligation under Oregon law is to review the 6 shots fired by the Oregon State Police. The Inspector General of the United States Department of Justice will review actions taken by the executive operators.
Throughout this presentation, we will be stopping the audio-video at specified points to supplement what you are seeing, with information gathered during the course of the investigation, and to give you the laws which apply to those actions. Prior to Ms. Cox's recording, the 2 vehicles carrying members of the unlawful armed occupation of the Mount Here National Wildlife Refuge were stopped to arrest those members for federal felony charges based on the criminal acts arising from that unlawful occupation. The occupants of the first vehicle cooperated with the Oregon State Police and were arrested without incident. The occupation leader, Mr. Ammon Bundy, as well as Brian Cavalier and Mark McConnell, were in this vehicle. Mr. Finicum was driving the second vehicle. In Mr. Finicum's truck were Ryan Bundy, Ryan Payne, Shauna Cox, and Victoria Sharp. None of them complied with commands from the Oregon State Police to cooperate with the arrest process. The Oregon State Police fired 1 less lethal OC round at the truck to gain compliance. Mr. Payne then complied with commands from Oregon State Police troopers, got out of Mr. Finicum's truck, and was arrested on federal charges. At that time, Ms. Cox turned on her camera and began recording. This video footage became valuable to the investigators of the major incident team. I want to now direct your attention to the monitor.
Shoot me, you shoot me. I'm going to meet the sheriff. The sheriff is waiting for us. So you do as you damn well please. But I'm not going anywhere. Here I am, right there. Right there, put a bullet through it. You understand? I'm going to go meet the sheriff. You back down or you kill me now. Go ahead, put the bullet through me. I don't care.
Where's Ryan?
I'm going to go meet the sheriff. You do as you damn well please.
What for?
Well, I'm going to ask them if they want to go out.
What for? Why are we getting
You want out?
What for? What are we getting
Who
out?
are you? Yeah, who are you? Who are you? Who are you?
Oregon State Police.
Okay, well, I'm going over to meet the sheriff in Grant County. You'll come along with us. And you can talk with us over there. You can go ahead and shoot me. Put the laser right there, put the bullet through the head. Okay, boys? This is going to get real. You want my blood on your hands? Get it done, because we got people to see and places to go. No, I don't. You need to back off. You need to back off.
Where the heck is Ammon?
Did never stop.
Did Ammon?
You're wasting oxygen, son.
Where they got
We have one. Did they arrest him?
He should have got out.
I'm not turning over. I'm going into Day County.
Well,
going into Grant County to see the sheriff.
Well, if we duck and you drive, what are they going to do? Try to knock us out? How much further we got to go?
Shoot your tire.
We got about 50 miles.
Tell him to approach the vehicle.
Okay.
Ryan's talking to him, right?
Okay.
Are we talking to him?
I can't tell.
I can't even see him except the guy behind the door that's got his gun on us. Say we have kids in here.
Okay, who can we call?
I told.
Turn that down.
Where's my
Hey,
phone?
boys, you better realize you got people on the way. You want a bloodbath? It's going to be on your hands. We're going to go see the sheriff.
Call Joseph Bryce.
You better understand how this thing's going to end.
What's the number?
I'm going to be laying down here on the ground with my blood on the street, or I'm going to go see the sheriff.
I don't have any.
We got people en route.
Yes, we do. Hold this. Hold
You're
this camera.
wasting your oxygen.
Hold this camera. Listen. Great. Can't take pictures. Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on the boy.
Can you take pictures and still have
I'm
it
recording.
recording?
Okay, cool. Okay, no.
What's his number?
I'm looking just a minute.
You need to back down.
We don't have any service. We have no service here.
They're calling you. They get it from your service here.
Yeah, they got it.
I know it. There's no service here at all.
Should never have stopped. Should never have stopped.
I'm going to keep going.
And we have to duck.
I know.
What are they gonna do to Ryan? If we take off,
You
what are
get
they gonna
Ryan
do?
back.
Shoot your tires out?
That's what I
Hey,
think.
Ryan Hammond,
Why did they pull you over?
There you go. There's no service here.
Just because.
are you ready?
Well, where's those where's the
You
guns?
got him stopped. You can't get around him. I'm going to go. You guys ready?
Okay, get down.
And you duck down. Give me that camera. Okay, give me this camera. Go.
The truck was stopped to arrest Finicum, Payne, Bundy, and Cox for federal felony charges based on criminal acts arising from the armed occupation of the Malheur County National Wildlife Refuge. The occupants of the truck knew that the Oregon State Police had appropriately identified themselves and told them to get out of the truck. They had been given both visible and audible commands to stop by law enforcement personnel who were appropriately attired and with appropriately marked police vehicles. At this point in the conversation, the videos show that the occupants of the truck had an agreement to elude the police in a vehicle. Eluding the police in a vehicle is a Class C felony in the state of Oregon.
In the video, the truck now accelerates away from the initial stop. We have determined that Mr. Finicum was driving over 70 miles per hour as he approached the roadblock established by FBI HRT operators and the Oregon State Police at milepost 51, 1.5 miles from the initial stop. Please again direct your attention to the monitor.
Got it.
Are they shooting?
Got it. Keep going.
So what about Allen and those guys?
We can't get around him. I'm going to go get help.
Okay.
Stay down, stay down,
I need
stay
to
down.
so I can call as soon as I get service.
Wait up, yeah, keep watching the phone so you get
I
service.
don't have any, I don't have my.
I can't even get Joe right.
Coming up fast.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, I don't know about numbers.
Well, I got numbers, but I can't call because we have no service.
Okay.
No, mobile network not available.
Do you have numbers for people here in town?
Yeah.
Hey, on.
Okay, they're shooting.
Hey, on.
Hang on.
As Mr. Finicum rounded the curve, in the road, you would have been able to see the roadblock, which was approximately 862 feet away, about the length of 3 football fields. Mr. Finicum continued driving over 70 miles per hour as he approached the roadblock. An Oregon State Police Special Weapons and Tactics van was following Mr. Finicum's truck at the same speed and was able to stop prior to the roadblock. Mr. Finicum continued to travel at speeds in excess of 50 miles per hour as an Oregon State Police trooper who was standing at the roadblock fired 3 shots into the truck in an attempt to stop it. This trooper was located by this law enforcement truck on the diagram. Mr. Finicum continues to drive towards the roadblock and veers off the road and hits a 3-foot-high snowbank and travels 105 feet before coming to a stop. As you will see, Mr. Finicum almost struck an FBI HRT operator. We are going to replay the first 2 shots, as the second shot is difficult to hear. 2 of the 3 shots, the first and third shots, are distinct. The second shot is muffled due to the fact that it hit the engine compartment. Before we play the video, I want to point out the 3 shots that were fired at the pickup from the Oregon State Police trooper. The first shot is represented by this orange line and strikes the driver's side mirror. The second shot, represented by the red line, strikes in the approximate area of the engine compartment. The third shot, represented by the green line, strikes in the front area of the vehicle as well. When we play this video, we will loop the video here 3 times so you can hear the first and second shot. The first and second shot are close together. Please direct your attention to the monitor.
Hey on. Hey on. Hey on.
As Mr. Finicum exits his truck, 2 shots were fired, which we have determined were fired by an FBI HRT operator. Later in this conference, we will discuss both the circumstances of those shots and how we discovered them. Neither of these 2 shots hit Mr. Finicum.
Again, I'm only dealing with shots fired by the Oregon State troopers. Under Oregon law, Mr. Finicum was using his truck as a dangerous weapon. A dangerous weapon is defined as any weapon, device, instrument, material, or substance, which under the circumstances in which it is used, attempted to be used, or threatened to be used, is readily capable of causing death or serious physical injury. An Oregon officer is justified in using deadly physical force when it is necessary to defend the peace officer or another person from the use or threatened imminent use of deadly physical force. Any person is justified in using deadly physical force when they reasonably believe that another person is using or about to use unlawful deadly physical force. Deadly physical force means physical force that under the circumstance in which it is used is readily capable of causing death or serious physical injury. When Mr. Finicum drove his truck at a high rate of speed toward a roadblock where law enforcement were present, the Oregon State Police trooper was reasonable in believing that Mr. Finicum planned to crash through or otherwise evade the roadblock. In doing so, he would do it in a manner that would injure or kill law enforcement at the roadblock. In this case, after interviewing the Oregon State Police trooper, that is in fact what the officer fired 3 shots into the truck believed. Under these circumstances, these 3 shots into Mr. Finicum's truck are justified.
Many of you have seen the social media photos of Mr. Finicum carrying a handgun on his left-hand side. The Oregon State Police troopers had been briefed and were aware that Mr. Finicum carried a handgun on his left side. During the investigation of the scene, major incident team investigators found a loaded 9mm handgun in the left-hand interior pocket of Mr. Finicum's jacket, as seen here in this orange circle, and it's also on these side monitors. Detectives recovered the 9mm loaded handgun from that interior pocket and were able to determine that the handgun was a gift from a relative to Mr. Finicum. We have selected this critical part of the footage, and we are now going to play it in slow motion. I will be pointing out key points in this footage. We're also going to show a transcript on the screen, and that depicts commands given by Oregon State Police, as well as statements made by Mr. Finicum. This was during the attempt to arrest Mr. Finicum. I'll again refer you to the monitor, and we'll play the video. When you see this footage in real time, you will see that Mr. Finicum rapidly gets out of his truck. He is commanded to get on the ground. He does not comply with commands and get on the ground, and continues moving away from his truck. He is commanded a second time to get on the ground. Again, he does not comply and continues moving away. He reaches across his body with his right hand into his jacket towards the area where his gun was found. The Oregon State Police do not shoot. He lifts his hands. He looks down at his jacket and again reaches across his body with his right hand into his jacket towards the area where his gun was found. The Oregon State Police do not shoot. It is important to note that our investigation has determined that at this point, Mr. Finicum has not been shot with any lethal rounds or less lethal rounds. Again, he lifts his hands. Also note that the Oregon State Police trooper, who you see at the left side of this screen, right here in the photo, is armed with a taser and closing in to deploy it. He was attempting to take Mr. Finicum into custody with less lethal force after Mr. Finicum refused orders to get on the ground. Before that can happen, Mr. Finicum is ordered a third time to get on the ground. In the midst of that command, Mr. Finicum grabs his jacket with his left hand and again reaches with his right hand into the area of his jacket where his gun was found. At which time, the two Oregon State Police troopers behind Mr. Finicum, only one of whom you can see in the video, shoot a total of 3 shots, killing Mr. Finicum. Both of these Oregon State Police troopers stated to major incident team investigators that they shot Mr. Finicum because they believed he was reaching for a handgun and was about to use deadly force against them and or the trooper armed with the taser. We have spent hours analyzing this video frame by frame. I would like to direct your attention to the monitor. Now here is the footage in real time.
Okay, they're shooting.
Hang on.
Hang on here.
Go ahead and shoot me.
Yes. Fine, shoot. Stay down, stay down, stay down. Stay down. Stay down. Are they shooting now?
Again, An Oregon officer is justified in using deadly physical force when it is necessary to defend the peace officer or another person from the use or threatened imminent use of deadly physical force. Any person is justified in using deadly physical force when they reasonably believe that another person is using or about to use unlawful deadly physical force against a person. 2 OSP troopers fired a total of 3 rounds, all of which hit Mr. Finicum. The Oregon State Medical Examiner's Office conducted the autopsy of Mr. Finicum and found that he was struck by 3 bullets in the torso, entering his back. The major incident team has confirmed that these 3 bullets were fired by OSP troopers. The troopers knew that Mr. Finicum carried a weapon in his left side. Mr. Finicum was reaching for that loaded 9mm gun when the troopers lawfully used deadly physical force to protect themselves and others, including the trooper who was armed with a taser. Under Harney County's plan addressing the use of deadly physical force protocol, my legal obligation is to review the evidence as it relates to the use of deadly physical force by the Oregon State Police troopers. I have concluded that all 6 shots fired by the Oregon State Police, the 3 into the truck, and the 3 that struck Mr. Finicum, are justified.
As a part of the major incident team investigation, Oregon State Police Crime Lab forensic scientists examined the truck driven by Mr. Finicum and found 4 distinct bullet holes, 3 of which we have already gone over with you. To refer you to this diagram, these are the 3 prior shots that we had discussed. This is the 4th shot that they found into the roof of the truck. In the early stages of the investigation, we could not explain the 4th shot into the roof of the truck or its trajectory, given the placement of the Oregon State Police troopers at the time. We had conclusive evidence that the Oregon State Police troopers fired 6 shots, the 3 that hit the truck and the 3 that hit Mr. Finicum. During the course of our investigation, we discovered evidence that an FBI HRT operator fired 2 shots as Mr. Finicum exited the truck, and 1 shot hit the truck. The footage from Ms. Cox's camera confirms this. Neither of these 2 shots fired by FBI HRT operators struck Mr. Finicum. The HRT operators were interviewed on the evening of January 26th and again on February 5th and 6th during the investigation by the major incident team. Of particular concern to all of us is that the FBI HRT operators did not disclose their shots to our investigators, nor did they disclose specific actions they took after the shooting. The failure by HRT operators to disclose that they fired shots during this contact and actions they took after the shooting are the subject of an ongoing investigation by both the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office and the Inspector General of the United States Department of Justice. The Inspector General is a separate department of the Department of Justice, responsible for investigating misconduct by Department of Justice personnel. Immediately upon discovering evidence of the HRT operator's actions, we contacted United States Attorney Bill Williams on February 17th. On February 18th, in Bend, we thoroughly briefed Mr. Williams, who reviewed the evidence. He then contacted FBI Special Agent in charge for the state of Oregon, Greg Bretzing, who came to Bend and was thoroughly briefed on the 19th. The Inspector General of the U.S. Department of Justice was notified the same day by the FBI. The very next day, Saturday, February 20th, a special agent of the Office of Inspector General of the U.S. Department of Justice and a team from the Inspections Division of the FBI flew from Washington, D.C. to Bend and were shown all of the evidence concerning the actions of the FBI HRT operators, including the actions of some operators during and after the shooting. We, the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the Office of the Inspector General consider this part of the incident an ongoing investigation.
Given that we have an ongoing investigation, we're going to try to be as transparent as possible. We're releasing all of the evidence that you've seen here today, including extended footage from after the shooting of Mr. Finicum until the truck's occupants were taken into custody. We've also reviewed numerous police reports and photos that are not directly related to the ongoing investigation, which we will release today. We will not be releasing the names of any law enforcement officers involved in this matter due to concerns for their safety and the safety of their families. We will not be releasing evidence that is being used in a continuing investigation. We want to acknowledge the prompt response of U.S. Attorney Bill Williams, FBI Special Agent in Charge Greg Gretzing, the FBI's Inspection Division, and the Office of the Inspector General. Additionally, I would like to publicly thank the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office and the major incident team. For their meticulous work in following the evidence wherever, without fear or favor.
Good morning, I'm Tim Colahan, Harney County District Attorney. Before we take any questions this morning, I want to be clear where the process goes from here. The investigation remains open and in the hands of the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office. The Inspector General of the U.S. Department of Justice is now also investigating. We deserve to know that our law enforcement officers at the local, state, and federal level act appropriately within the scope of the law. We know without a doubt that the Oregon State Police troopers who shot Mr. Finicum did so as they moved to protect themselves and their fellow officers from imminent harm. Mr. Finicum repeatedly and knowingly made choices that put him, Robert Lavoy Finicum, in this situation. It was not the outcome that any of us wanted, but one that he alone is responsible for.
Thank you, gentlemen, for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Greg Brexton, and I am the Special Agent in Charge of the FBI in Oregon. On January 26, 2016, along Highway 395 in Harney County, Oregon State Police troopers and FBI agents put themselves in harm's way as part of an effort to bring the situation at the refuge to an end peacefully. I can assure you that no one, from the director of the FBI down to each and every employee who was working in Harney County, wanted this situation to end in violence or death. However, Mr. Finicum chose to break the law. Mr. Finicum chose to put other people's lives in danger, and, as the investigation shows, he chose to provoke a confrontation with law enforcement. As the sheriff and the DA have shown, the threat Mr. Finicum posed to OSP troopers and agents along Highway 395 on that day was real and imminent, and certainly justified the use of deadly force by law enforcement. As you have heard today, the investigation conducted by the Tri-County Major Incident Team determined that OSP troopers fired 3 shots at Mr. Finicum's vehicle as it approached the law enforcement barricade at a high rate of speed. The vehicle nearly hitting a law enforcement officer. The team also determined OSP troopers fired 3 additional shots that struck and killed Mr. Finicum as he reached for his weapon after exiting his vehicle. The county investigation further indicates that in between the 2 shared series of shots fired by OSP troopers, 1 and possibly 2 additional shots were fired by law enforcement as Mr. Finicum was exiting his vehicle immediately after being killed. As autopsy results confirm, neither of these shots struck Mr. Finicum. The question of who fired these shots has not been resolved. Upon learning this, and given the presence of FBI agents on scene, I immediately contacted our inspection division, which in turn notified the United States Department of Justice, Office of Inspector General, which is currently investigating the matter. Because this is an ongoing investigation, it would be inappropriate for me or anyone else to speculate or comment further. But I can assure you, the FBI is cooperating fully with the Office of Inspector General. Since January 2nd, the FBI has worked in partnership with Harney County and our law enforcement partners across the state to resolve the situation at the refuge. Since that time, hundreds and hundreds of FBI employees traveled to Burns with the sole purpose of bringing this situation to a peaceful conclusion. Working together with our partners, we have been able to do just that. The refuge is clear and will be reopening soon. People who once feared for their lives have returned home. Those who chose to break the law will have their day in court. Life is not yet completely normal, but we are on a path to reconciliation and recovery. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Bill Williams, and I'm the U.S. Attorney here in the District of Oregon. A separate independent investigation is being conducted by the Office of Inspector General for the United States Department of Justice in consultation with my office. This is obviously regarding the actions of the FBI hostage rescue team personnel. We will continue to work with state and local law enforcement as we review this matter. Because the investigation is ongoing, I do not want to prejudge or prejudice the outcome. Accordingly, I will not comment further until the investigation